In this video, I'm going to show you how to export from your assembly or part files that we need for using with the 3D printer or laser cutter or CNC router. This kind of part under here, which is we're going to 3D print this part. Now, once you've kind of renamed and exported this as a assembly file, you can now isolate this part here. So if we come over to either one of these brackets, they're both the same, we're going to come down to this button here. So I was right click on that and then come down to isolate, and that just shows me just that one part there, and you can see it. And now with that just showing, we can come up to file, go down to print, hover over it, and then send to 3D print service. And now I can, as an STL file, make sure you click on options and change yours from centimeter to millimeter, and make sure you put on high as well. And then we can export that and export it into maybe our storage assembly file, and it's going to be an STL file. That was one way of doing it, where by isolating this particular bracket, I can right click and now go to undo isolate, and that will bring everything else back into place. You'll remember, of course, we as an assembly file, it's got all these kind of parts here, and because we named them before we created the assembly, you'll also find that the phone holder support bracket is there and the other one. So I could open these two files from Inventor and do exactly the same thing. So that is exporting for 3D printing a particular part. Now, if you want to isolate that 3D print part from your original storage drawing, let's go back to opening that up. It is here, it's this one here. Okay, you would do it in a slightly different way. You can see that these are all the extrusions. We can't do it from there. We need to open up a solid body here, and then we can go down to one of these brackets, and we can then hide others. I think that's it. And now we can go to the same thing, which is print, hover over, and then 3D print service. So that's the way to do it from the original IPT part file. So we can, let's undo that by going back to it and then show all. There we go. Okay, so we're back over to our assembly. Now, if we want to laser cut this part here, there isn't quite in the same way. Let's just come off of it. There we go. Let's click on there. There isn't quite the same way to have an export face as, not that I can see in these kind of right clicking on the face. So you would go back to the original storage part here, and then you could click on the face, right click on it, and then you will be able to export face as. Okay, and you can put that down as, you know, phone holder face, and that should be a DXF file. And if you've got some kind of splines on there as well, I'd always recommend going down from 2018 DXFs down to R12 under the options, and then we can click finish. So that's just here under options. It should be a DXF file, and then you can click on that. So that's now a 3D print part done from the assembly file, and now an export face from the kind of the original file here. You could, of course, open up, because you've got the assembly now instead of the storage part, the original one you did, you could, of course, open up the phone holder and export the face from there as well. Okay, so that is those different parts. Now, there is one other option that we might want to look at, which is exporting the faces of this whole design. In particular, if you had maybe a design like this, which was all laser cut, we might want to export all of these different faces for laser cutting.